thank the American Cancer Society and the numerous volunteers that have dedicated their time to make this event possible. My name is Jassa Dwyer. I am here today to inform, encourage, strengthen, and inspire. Last winter, I had a feeling that something was wrong with me. I had been experiencing a slight pain in my left armpit, which I assumed was just a pulled muscle, but wanted to get it checked out just to be safe. My half-sister had been diagnosed with and survived breast cancer a few years prior, so I was instructed to get a mammogram 10 years before her age at diagnosis. According to this plan, a mammogram wouldn't be recommended for another 6 to 7 years, but I had a strong feeling that I shouldn't wait. I decided to get a mammogram and an ultrasound at a local imaging center in Merced. My doctor recommended both tests because my tissue is young and dense. The ultrasound may show something that the mammogram would not. So my primary doctor specifically made a note describing this pain, as well as my family history on the order for each test to ensure their proper evaluation. A few weeks later, I received a letter with the results. The mammogram was clear and everything appeared to be normal. I was somewhat relieved until a week or two later when I received a second letter regarding the ultrasound. The results were not the same. This test showed an area in my right breast that was believed to be benign, not cancer, and included a recommendation to return in 3 to 6 months to check the spot again. I thought about it and decided that I should get a second opinion. So my primary doctor referred me to a breast surgeon specialist in Fresno. I met with the breast surgeon and we discussed my family history. She looked over my recent results and performed an exam. Although she could not feel anything in either breast, she sent me to the Women's Imaging Center in Fresno to test this nodule. I met with the radiologist who did an ultrasound, immediately located the spot, and performed the biopsy. I was told that I would receive a phone call with the results within 24 hours. What a relief that instead of having to wait nearly 3 weeks for the test results as I had to in Merced, I would be able to put my mind to ease the following afternoon. The next day, a mere 12 days before my 27th birthday, I received the call. The spot was, in fact, not benign, as the doctor had assumed. I was officially diagnosed with invasive ductal carcinoma, in other words, breast cancer. I couldn't believe it. To think that the previous doctor had simply sent a letter recommending I return in a few months, when the entire time there was cancer growing inside of me. And how ironic that the letter had even stated the importance of early detection, yet this doctor overlooked a cancerous tumor. So, to avoid any other careless mistakes, I had another ultrasound. This time, the doctor identified 3 additional areas requiring immediate biopsies. Luckily, they came back benign, but one of them was in my left armpit. Not only had the doctor in Merced failed to send me for a biopsy of the original spot, he didn't even perform a thorough reading of my ultrasound. The pain was accredited to a highly enlarged lymph node, which, according to the radiologist in Fresno, should have been biopsied immediately when discovered in Merced, regardless of my age. Enlarged lymph nodes are a red flag, often indicating cancerous cells, and should always be biopsied. But because I listened to and trusted my intuition, sought medical advice, and pursued further testing of what seemed to be a common abnormality, my tumor was discovered before it became life-threatening and was removed in a timely manner. My diagnosis was the best that it could have possibly been, grade 1, stage 1, so my treatment has been quite minimal. I underwent a unilateral mastectomy in March of this year, followed by tissue expansion, and had my final exchange surgery 4.5 weeks ago. My oncologist said that my tumor was discovered at the earliest possible stage, so I would not have to do chemotherapy or radiation. But I can't help but wonder, how much more advanced would the cancer have been if I had taken the first radiologist's advice and waited a few months? I try not to think about what might have been and focus on the fact that I am alive, but I have absolutely no doubt that had I ignored my instinct that something was wrong, I would not be here today.
Yeah.
I have been beyond blessed, and am now obligated to share my story and spread awareness in hopes that early detection will save the lives of other young women as it did mine. The doctor that discovered my nodule turned me away without a biopsy and told me to return months later because he assumed that I was too young to have breast cancer. Multitudes of tumors have been overlooked because the doctor thought the patient was too young to have cancer. Then when checked again and determined malignant, Treatment is devastating or even deadly. People used to become doctors to actually help other people. This trend seems to be fading rapidly, a terrifying thought considering lives are at stake. So, doctors in attendance today, if there is any scientific inclination of abnormality, please disregard age or other insignificant factors and focus on the findings. What cost is it to you to just send that patient to get a biopsy instead of having them wait before deciding to do so? There is absolutely no reason to wait to test something that may or may not be malignant. A few months can make the world of difference when cancer is involved, so a timely discovery is of utmost importance.
How many times do we trust?
Take pride in what you do and show it. You may save a life in doing so. And as a patient, don't you want to know what's going on in your body?
Yep.
Pay attention to and listen to your body. It may not be the most pleasant thing to do, but getting a yearly physical can be the difference between life and death.
I'm so proud of her.
We all must accept the fact that it can and may happen to any one of us. I found this to be true firsthand, and am now determined to help others come to this realization as well, so that they may be more motivated to stay on top of their health care. Then, if it does happen, the problem will be detected as early as possible, and treatment can be minimal. Even though I knew the importance of self-exams, I never really felt comfortable checking myself like we are all instructed to do. Surprisingly, most of the women I have spoken to feel the same way. So, if we can't even manage checking ourselves in private, how will we ever be brave enough to go get a yearly physical? It's uncomfortable is the most common excuse used to avoid this kind of appointment. Next is that people are afraid to find out that something is wrong. When you think about it, these excuses couldn't be any more ridiculous. Wouldn't you much rather discover a problem at an early and treatable stage than wait until it has advanced dangerously? It can be difficult to face these issues head-on, but upon following through, you will come to realize how much courage you had all along. I hope that sharing openly on this subject will help others find the strength to shake their awkwardness and start taking care of themselves. When it comes to your health, don't be intimidated or feel that you have to settle with the first opinion you get. Remember, doctors are people too, and sometimes make mistakes. So, if you feel it necessary, do not hesitate to seek a second or even third opinion. If you have to travel to find the right doctor, know that the money spent is well worth it to receive exemplary medical care and avoid misdiagnosis. Keep in mind that you are paying for these services, so don't be afraid to get your money's worth. Ask questions, address concerns, challenge opinions with which you disagree, and leave the doctor's office feeling satisfied and at ease.
Yep.
If you do have a health issue, don't focus on what the problem might be. Take action and focus on reaching a solution. When people ask me what kind of cancer I had, I tell them that I honestly do not know. When I was diagnosed, I had absolutely no desire to analyze and memorize every detail of the problem. I wanted to find out everything I possibly could about the solution.
Yep.
I wouldn't gain a single benefit from knowing the exact terminology of my disease, so what was the point? By focusing on the solution instead of the problem, I was able to envision myself at the end of this journey, not in the middle of it. We all know or know of someone who has had cancer. What a disservice it would be to them to simply ignore our health. We should honor their lives by taking the initiative to become more proactive.
Yes.
Don't put off getting a yearly checkup simply because it's awkward and you just don't want to. Go to that appointment and be proud of yourself for going and taking control of your health. I assure you, you will feel much more at ease when you do. For those that are currently fighting this fight, hold your head high. Don't be ashamed. Embrace your beauty and strength. Share your story and take pride in the fact that you truly are a warrior. This is a challenging journey, but you do possess the strength to face it. Believe in yourself and don't give up. Every day may not be good, but there is something good in every day. Recently, my other half, Frank McIntosh, who has not left my side throughout this fight, introduced me to a very valuable concept. PMA. It is a simple acronym that holds a profoundly enlightening meaning. Positive mental attitude.
Go, girl.
Think positive, be positive. By consistently maintaining my PMA, I was able to come to peace with whatever possible outcome lie ahead in my experience with this thing called cancer. Before my surgery, treatment was uncertain. Until my tumor was removed and dissected, chemotherapy and radiation were a looming possibility, so I had to be prepared for anything. Throughout this journey, I have realized what a tremendous effect one's attitude can have on their health and mental state. Good or bad, it is your decision to make. This quote from Scott Hamilton helps put it into perspective. The only disability in life is a bad attitude.
Yep.
In closing, I challenge you today to absorb the information that you have heard, truly reflect upon it, and simply utilize the message that you have gained. You never know when or where this disease may strike. For your own health and the health of your loved ones, share this story of awareness and staying true to yourself, and encourage them to do the same. It's not enough to be just a survivor. I want to touch the lives of others and inspire them to be aware of their health so that they may survive as well. As far as I'm concerned, contributing what I can to aid in the betterment of others is truly living. Health concerns such as this need not and must not be an awkward and unapproachable subject. We must be able to speak openly and honestly about these sensitive matters in order to detect such diseases at their earliest stage, and furthermore, help each other address and deal with them in a positive way. If we all simply shed our fear of embarrassment when concerning our physical health and encourage each other to get yearly physicals, and they their loved ones as well, an endless number of lives can be saved. So pay it forward. It will take the words of few to open the eyes of many. And we should do everything in our power to aid in the improvement of our fellow man. After all, we are all in this life together. Thank you.